We're live?
I think we're live.
We're live on Facebook at one of our biannual company meetings, which is awesome. We thought it'd be great to take customers behind the scenes for extensive PowerPoints, sit down with our entire company. Shelby, who's here today with us?
A lot of people are here today.
So,
Say hi.
Hi. This is the awesome crew of people behind Mexicali Blues. No PowerPoint today. This is going to be the part of our meeting where we talk about purpose. We talk about what the 1% of our sales go to every year. And we work a lot here. A few weeks ago, I had the awesome pleasure of taking a little break from work and hanging out, sharing a meal with Pete and Kim. And they told me about their most recent trip to Nepal. And all I could think as I walked away was I had a huge debt of gratitude for this awesome opportunity to work with everyone here as well as to create this kind of impact in the world. So we're looking forward to a fun slideshow and a lot of interaction. So if you are watching us live, please chime in with questions, and Shelby will let Pete know there's one, and everyone here is going to do the same thing.
Appreciate any input.
Hopefully just like that dinner I had where I got to feel like I was really in Nepal. So here we go, right?
Yeah, sounds good. Well, first, just to back up a little bit and talk about the charitable giving program, the World of Goods. We give 1% of all sales, both locally in the towns we live and work in, as well as internationally in the countries that we work with. Luckily, for a bunch of reasons, that 1% has grown into quite a bit of money, so we can really affect change for people here and abroad. I'm a little nervous because it's Facebook Live.
So that 1%, I think that's important to talk about. It's $22,000 of it is what Pete is going to show us right now.
Yeah. For this school.
For this
so we're going to focus
school.
on the Himalayan primary school project, which we did in the Solokhumbu region of Nepal. Kim, my wife and I and our son traveled there, and we were able to interact with the people and see how it affected them in their communities, and see how the change really made a difference in their lives.
What's the elevation there, Pete? What was the elevation there?
I don't know specifically, but it's up there. So the foothills of Everest.
Okay,
so,
thank you.
But one good thing is just seeing the need there was so remote. In Nepal, where there's tourists and aid workers everywhere, we were 7 days without seeing anyone except for local Nepali people. So it was pretty intense that way. Especially if you've been to Nepal, there's Connor's been. There's tourists everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah. So cool. Okay. So what we're going to do is at first I'm going to show you a couple slides about Nepal just to get you acquainted with it. We're starting here with the Solokhumbu temple in Kathmandu. Thought it was good to start with the prayer flags because that was our first foray into really getting charitable giving. We did the prayers from Nepal and raised $25,000 for earthquake relief, which was awesome. And it was our first time working with the Z Foundation, which is who we paired with to help with the school. So let's keep going. We'll show you a few slides of Nepal. That's Kim and I.
Kim just chimed in and said that where you were was about 4,000-ish.
Okay. Thanks, Kim. and Kim wanted to be here, except for she's ill, so she's here in spirit.
She's here on Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, this is the top of the Solokhumbu temple. This is some prayer wheels. This is people giving offerings. This is downtown Kathmandu, and you can see I'm wearing the shirt that Topher's wearing right now. So, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, this is a big change. So this is where we started from, and I'm going to show you the next slide is where we're going, which is pretty cool. So that's where we're headed. So that's that district in Nepal that is so remote. There's no roads there. So it was quite something to get there. So I'm going to show you a little bit about the journey on the way. This is us getting packed up, and there's a tarp there, which I didn't understand. It wasn't supposed to rain there, but then I later learned from all the dust that there's a good reason for the tarp. Let's see, this is along the way. We had a couple obstacles. There's a lot of mud in this instance, and we weren't sure if we could make it through, but we waited to see a few other vehicles go through, and it was part of the adventure. This is a couple slides of how really radical was going there. These roads are just carved into the sides of hills. So I can just show you a quick little, so it's like straight off the edge. If you go back, this shows like the road that we came in on. So this is this. Well, we're going up to make a corner here, but it's just straight down for
That's
quite a
your
distance.
spring like our spring, Pete?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, when they're getting ready for the monsoon, so I wouldn't even know what this is going to look like after it starts raining.
Okay.
So. Awesome. But when you approach someone on these roads, no one wants to be on the outside. So, just to give you an idea. So.
We watched a video of this yesterday, and you said there was like a lot of horn honking in the
Well,
video.
going around corners, yeah. I mean, there's no forgiving. It's straight off the edge thing. So.
So you honk before you go around so that
Yes.
the oncoming
You let
person.
people know. Yeah, you let people know, which is cool and safer. But, and we were told as we were going, at any time we could get out and walk. So that was cool. Yeah. So this is at the end of the road. Okay, so we got there at the end. This is where the car stops. There's a river here, and that's where the roads. That's where the actual trek started. So it was 2 days' ride to get to this point, and then we started walking from here. So this is we had the porters who were carrying our things, and Chauncey over there, and unloading the truck. This is the start over the river, and you can see it's quite long because that's a person right there. So quite a long distance.
Now, I have a question, Pete.
Sure.
I know you travel a lot and you have done all sorts of experiences. Do you get nervous when they're like, all right, we're going to throw your stuff in this truck and we're going to cover it up and we're taking, are you more
Yeah.
excited for the adventure?
Yeah, I think it's the
or-
adventure thing. I'm not
But-
too nervous about
No,
the particulars,
yeah.
but it's fun to do different things. So,
Are you,
yeah,
like,
no, I
walking
appreciate it.
across
Oh,
bridges
this is
like
fine.
that?
This was fine. No, really, it's a strong bridge. It's more nervous when there are little trails and you can see where there's been like
Yeah.
landslides.
So Pete and Kim, I know Kim's in there, are probably not going to toot their own horn, but I'll ask you since you're not going to toot it. So how do most donors, how were you told most donors?
We were told at the end that most donors helicopter at least one way in, and we did both ways ourselves.
And that
Which
was
pretty
a
cool.
first?
That just seems like a waste of, the first time a major donor had gone in both ways. Sometimes if they go in walking, then they helicopter back. But, so this is like the main roads there. This is it, traveling all throughout that region of Nepal. There are no roads. Everything is brought in on trail. Like they're carrying our tents and things. For the school which we're building, rebar, aluminum, corrugated tin siding, everything has to be brought up on someone's back. So it's pretty intense.
How was it that the people actually settled there or remained there?
Well, once they got there, I think they stayed pretty close. But back in the day, now it's a 2-day walk from Chescom, for instance, and then you can take a road to get to a bus. But I was talking with one of one of the people in the staff there, and they said it was 4 days walk to a bus before when he was a kid. So this is how remote it is, and this is just how people get around. Everything's carried on your forehead, so it's just amazing when you think of things we take for granted. And that's the highway. So
When you're hiking, like, were you up as high as you were on the roads ever? Like,
yeah, up
on
and
the
down.
edge?
You're going. It's just you can see it's just going up and down. So
Nepali flat.
yeah, that's exactly what the guy said. Oh, it's rather flat. It means it equals out. So this is our village as we walk through. This is arriving in Sotang. They gave us reception scarves and had some tea, so every community you went into, they would welcome you as a visitor. And that's Chauncey and Kim and myself. So this is setting up for a camp. There's no tourists there, so there's really no hotels to stay in. So we basically had to stay in tents, which was great. We got to meet all the community members here. It was a lot of fun.
Hey Pete, what was the menu like for dinner after a long day of hiking?
Well, at each place we would stay, we would go to one of the, like a local restaurant, if you will, and then they would provide food for us. So just different things, That's it. Every day we had to, twice a day, fill up our water bottles because you can't drink the water. So we had a filter system, so the Mexicali ones there. Let's see. So this is the regional offices of the Z Foundation. And in here is the Women's Cooperative and a community room. And it was just fantastic to work with the Z. Just a few things to say that were really important that stood out for us with them is these areas had real need. And that's when Z goes into a place, it's, you know, they assess the need, they assess the community involvement because they have to buy in with this, and it's an 8 to 10 year commitment. And everything is transparent. Every project they do, anyone in the community can see. They have a whiteboard, which you'll see later, which shows how much everything costs, when things are paid, the community buy-in, because everyone provides work or resources to match what the Z does. So. This is a picture of the staff here, and then this is in the community where we had tents. Everyone wanted to come out and see what we were doing because they don't see so many visitors at all. So that's Chauncey and Kim jumping rope with the kids. We were wicked awesome. And then, as always, you break out the Mexicali Frisbee, and it's a great icebreaker for people. From young kids to older people, guys, girls, everybody wants to play Frisbee. At first they start off kind of tentatively, but then they move in and it becomes a real fun group thing. We all played for an hour or so. So that was good.
And you left the disc behind?
Yeah, I did. Well, that next morning we woke up and all the kids were playing with garbage lids. So we obviously left the Frisbee for them to use. And I'm sure they're going to be much better when we go back.
Is the DZ Foundation, was that original from Nepal, or?
Yeah, the Z Foundation started in Nepal, and we first met them with that Prayers for Nepal fundraising we did, and then we went to their offices in between this trip and the last, and we're so impressed with what they did that we thought that we wanted to get behind them, and that's why it was a good opportunity with this 1%, and then it's more than we normally give, but we were so happy to really affect change. And when you see these kids in the community, it's just, you feel great about it. It's a good thing we're doing. This is a local weaver. They in this area, they don't have cotton. They make their clothing out of nettles. So they beat the nettles, and all the women are working on this, and it's a whole activity they do. We just wanted to show you some things in the area. So it's one of the hand looms. We have a video of it, how they do it.
And so that's how they make all of their clothes?
Not all, but traditionally they did. Now they have markets and things, but they still make that cloth in that area. It's just so isolated. We were talking about maybe we could sell some of it, and it doesn't make any sense to try to get it to market and back and forth. So really what they're trying to do is create sustainable systems so they can live there, and I'll get into more about that when we show what the Z does. So these are just some kids along the way. They're all wicked cute, and they just want to know what's going on. So another thing the Z does besides clean water, sanitation, in schools is they encourage these kitchen gardens. So before Z got involved, most people they had potatoes, they had millet, they had wheat, and I think some other kind of root vegetable, but really not a lot of diversity in their diet. When the Z came in, they encouraged them to do different types of vegetables. They introduced tomatoes and kiwis, and they've played around with almond or pecan trees and things like that, and seeing how they work. But it's great nutritional value, and also to be able to add to bringing to the market. Which, before I show you the next photo, what they also introduced to this area was toilets. In 2008, there was no toilets. So part of what they wanted to bring in was the sanitation, they had clean water, but just for the health of the community was to introduce toilets. And initially they did, and it was a big deal, and they got the children to get people involved, because really there was just, you went wherever you were. And since that time, they had this eco sand toilet, which I'll show you now, which separates the urine from everything else, and then they're able to recycle that and increase the yield. Initially, people were not into it. Gross, not a big deal. But the people who did do it, when they were bringing their produce to market, it was such a big difference. Everybody wanted it. So when they brought toilets to the village of Chescombe, all 300 homes have these eco sand toilets, and they were so excited about the success of that and the success of their produce, they wanted to do more. So they became a plastic-free village. So this is all forward-thinking and fantastic stuff. This
So-
is all the well,
With the toilet,
Yeah.
what specifically did they notice allowed that success with the growth?
they could recycle the urine and get the waste and then
Yeah.
for fertilizer.
Great fertilizer.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I remembered you had mentioned nitrogen in there.
yeah. So I
That's the
think
big-
they get that and that helps it. And then I mean they recycle it all. The school recycles it and sells it to farmers, and it's become quite popular. In fact, I think one vat was even stolen. But this is the terrace farming everywhere you'll see. I mean, this is just amazing. These are all just about this wide because everything's on an angle like this. So everywhere you go, you're seeing this farming, and they're just really, because they're so isolated, they're trying to just sustain and make enough for themselves and maybe just sell a little bit at the market. This is, again, everyday ritual, people going out to get firewood, and again, they carry everything on their heads. We were lucky enough in the evening, it's an animist culture, which they're not Hindu, not Buddhist. They believe these are shamans, these two shamans here, so we went to a ceremony there where we were able to see how they did things there, like soothsaying, looking at the rice. And it was pretty surreal. It was a smoky room, there was a lot of like chanting, and it was just an awesome experience. And which culminated in them sacrificing chickens, which was kind of weird, and then we ate them. But it was just to see that difference in cultures was really, really special. This is what getting toward the school. This gentleman met us because we are big donors. He was all dressed in a suit and a suitcase. It was so hot, we were sweating profusely. He didn't sweat one drop. It was amazing. But he met us and showed us through. So we're going to take a little walk up to the school. This is along the way. This is a finished Z project. Okay, this is one of the schools, and it fits into the property differently than the primary school at the top of the hill, which is on an L. But just to show you a finished product.
How many people live in that community?
There was like 50 children that would attend the school. Yeah. So this is they welcomed us to this. Everywhere we went, they welcomed us, which was fantastic. So this is in front of the school also, and we're still heading uphill to the primary school, which we gave our donation for. And this is the foundation that they're doing. All these materials have been brought up by the local population, and actually school is not in session. There's the school was destroyed during the earthquake, and it's a little corrugated tin building over here, which you can't see. But this is the start of it, and all the community pitches in. This is the welcoming ceremony. School was not in session, but a lot of people from the community came out, which is really nice.
What were you getting there?
We're getting like a welcome garland of rhododendron, red rhododendron. So, and they all cut those and put those together. But there was a lot of groups that appreciated it because my necklace got like really big. And they also gave us these great things from the community, these gherkin knives, which I have. These were handmade, hand-carved, and was given to us, which is really cool. This is something they wear all the time because they're working outside. So you see Chauncey and I sporting ours on our belts, so that was cool.
Someone asked, do they have modern medicine?
They have access to clinics, yes. Yes, they do, yeah. There's clinics within each village.
And when they gave you the knife, they wanted to give you money, right? But
Well, they said this isn't an expensive gift, but this is heartfelt from the community, and it's totally cool. I mean, that's a hand-carved local knife was right on. It was perfect. So we really appreciated that a lot. And this is the headmaster of the school and the children. And again, I wish I had a picture of the school it's replacing. It's just a little tin building, but they are very, very excited to have this opportunity. And this is the community at the end, and they all were welcoming us. And then there's a video. Yeah.
Pete, how long will it take for them to get from the point they're at to a finish?
We're going to show you.
Awesome.
It was great. Just this morning they sent a video, and this was just a couple weeks ago. And then we'll have a video after this that will show you where they are right now. It's pretty cool.
self-sustained, or does it, you were referring that they go to market? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, now that there's a little surplus, they have a weekend market.
okay.
They have a
But
market there, though.
market there, yes. But I mean, people from the surrounding areas bring their goods to sell, and we did a video on that before. We showed people that they've gone in, that's once a week, so.
And how far would the children go to the school? What's the distance that this school was available to these children?
Well, we passed the upper school on the way up, and this is the primary school. But I mean, it was, I don't know exactly. I'd say within a 30-minute, maybe an hour for us, 30 minutes for them to get there. So,
Thank you first.
yeah, we do. And this is at the end of this. And
1, 2, 3.
This is like the head guy of the village, and he's doing the shovel ready, so that was really nice. But so just this morning we received another clip from the Z Foundation about where they are right now, and so great timing.
So when they made this,
that's what they're doing now, so that's really cool. And again, those are all brought up. And it's earthquake proof, which is a big difference in floors. That's that audit sheet I was talking about before.
sorry, I don't know what happened there.
But that's it's a public. It's
Netflix.
I think you have a
But
couple
anyway, so-
people from the Z Foundation watching. I think
Alright.
Julia's on here, and Ben Ayers
Oh, good.
says that we'll have photos of the completed school soon, and it's coming right along.
That sounds good. All right. Well, it was great working with those guys. I mean, it's an amazing group, and that's what's so special about this program. And it's so nice to be able to have funds from people when they support Mexicali Blues and to give it back to people and really affect change. Because
Yes.
these people appreciate it. It's something that we should all be really proud of.
What does it cost to build a school?
66,000. So we gave 22,000, a third of that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
We also
And that's an earthquake-proof school. They were building other schools there, which they were not earthquake-proof, which I don't know why they would do that, but another group is doing that in a different area. So,
Okay.
but it's just a quality organization, and we're just really proud to be associated with them. And more to come, because we have some things that are planned for the future. So.
What else does the Z Foundation do to raise funds? Is it just private people who donate?
Yeah, they're based out of
or-
Colorado, and that's where a lot of their base is. But they're looking to expand it. And Ben, the director, is from Maine. So, hey, Ben. And we're hoping to get something, well, I can allude to it right now, I guess, for a little bit. Ben just did a National Geographic movie about the last honey hunter, which is in that same valley. And these people see a vision this particular person saw a vision as a kid and is allowed to harvest this honey. It's like a psychedelic honey, but it's used for ritualistic, in their religion. It's not recreational when you hear what happens to you. But, so we're going to show that. It's being showed at the
Mountain Festival in Telluride.
where it's going to be.
Yeah, and we're planning to show it here locally at the library and to announce at that point some fundraising efforts that we'll be
We're going to
working
do some
with them
matching,
on.
but more to come on that. But
Awesome.
yeah, so
Yeah.
you'll hear about that.
So we'll try that thank you video one more time, and before we do, because it's shorter, and I think the length of that might have been the issue on our TV. But this is the drive-in that we had those pictures of, and this is just a little clip. It's straight from the GoPro, so it's going to be a little bouncy, but it's pretty intense.
It's a long way down. So we're probably going about as fast as people walk. That's going around a corner.
All right, we'll try the thank you one more time because
Oh, it worked. Oh, you mean the...
to see the whole thing, there's a little more there. Any other questions?
No, just some other comments. Jack Sparrow says I'm also DZ staff.
Yeah.
I keep wanting to say it's spelled DZI
It's
in
Z,
English,
it's
but
Z,
it's
it's
pronounced
the Z
Z.
Foundation.
So
Yeah, that's Janet. He's an aspiring actor. He's in a lot of videos
Oh, right,
in
you
Nepal.
said that,
Yeah,
right.
I
I
spoke
read the
of him.
blog.
Yeah, exactly. And a great guy.
One, two, three.
That's Janet. Right there. And that's the public disclosure of all the money spent. So anyone can see it, the community buy-in, and it's just for every project they do. And Jetna was amazing. Yeah,
Is that Everest in the background?
it's the Himalayan range. Well, thanks a lot. And that was cool. Thank you. Yeah.